Minecraft back in 2010 era. Who doesn't remember that? No, but all seriousness, I didn't remember it until recently that I used to have a world in Minecraft on my Xbox 360 that I cherished a lot. And then I remembered why I'd put this memory in the back burner. I accidentally deleted my first Minecraft world ages ago. Now, I don't know how it happened, if it was a system error, but stay with me here on this because I had a roller coaster of experiences within 2 years that I played my Xbox 360 Minecraft. Now, I started off with classic stuff of building a dirt house and learning the basic tools and trade. This was all in the beginning. I don't know whether it was considered beta, alpha, whichever generation of Minecraft it was, but it was all before creative mode updates. I mean, honestly, this was even before piston updates were a thing when it first started, so I played the Xbox 360's earliest edition that I could remember, and I built a lot of stuff. Now, in the background of this video, you'll see a few pictures of what remains of the world that I had sort of restored on my Xbox 360. I deleted my first world, so I don't have any pictures of that, and it frustrates me so much because with my visual mind that I have as an artist, I can visualize detail for detail every single house, every single animal, every single thing that I had created. So I had created this world probably somewhere between 2010 and 2013 before it got deleted, and I remember playing with several high school buddies, or maybe it was middle school buddies, creating this world, and there were so many projects. I first started off with the basic house, and then I decided that I wanted to build a minecart kind of railing system, and so on and so forth, until I decided to stretch the bounds of making sky worlds where I would go all the way up to the clouds, and I built like a 13-story house because you could build up to where there was a sky limit, and back then there was almost like you were in a boxed bubble. There was limits to the worlds, even in the heights range. You could build up only so far until you would hit an invisible ceiling instead of flying out into space like you can nowadays with the infinite and even like extreme biomes that have in the newest like editions of Minecraft. So building this world way back before all of the restrictions kind of like changed. It was kind of interesting to remember some of the things where I started building houses for my wolf army. I was addicted to when I first found out that you could give bones to wild wolves and make them pets. I think I had in total, my memory's a little fuzzy, I had at least 10 of them, and I gave them each names from Rex to Max to like Fluffy. I even named horses when the updates eventually got all the way up to horses. That was the last update that I remember before everything got erased. Now you're probably wondering, out of all of these things, like how big was the world that I had created? Since it was a classic Minecraft one, the world was limited. However, the world was big enough that I was able to make museums, I was able to make cemeteries, I was able to make a giant platform on the middle of the ocean to create a castle. I made things underground and above ground, and my idea was, oh, well, if, I ever wanted to expand, I could build a second world. So I decided to do that. I built a second world that I barely played, and some of the photos that you see in the background of this were from that world. Now, this world had a starting spawn point that was nice. I was around a cliffside, and there was a mountain kind of like starting cave that I decided to go into. I built my house around this and eventually worked my way up to finding iron and then eventually diamond, made my way to the nether portal and got myself a nether warts farm and started making potions and everything. Got horses and everything, and I even remember naming one of them Fleetfoot or Whitehoof or maybe both. And I remember having several wolves. I had at least 3 of them that I remember, and I of course gave them names the minute that I found name tags. Now, one thing I remember about my very first world that has like a lasting memory for me was glitches up the wall were so much fun to abuse in that game, because I remember way back, if anyone ever used to play Minecraft, when you could stand on top of a furnace and have your friend break the furnace whilst you were spamming diamonds in the inventory of it, where you would click and deselect it over and over again, you could get a fat stack of diamonds. Now that was one of the things that occupied 80% of my chests, was the glitched duplication. And this changed, and eventually what you could do is you could place an item down, and you could keep moving your character, so you would place and run after it and break it, and place and break, and so on and so forth, until eventually you would get 2 of the item. And I remember abusing this power so much in my classic world. And eventually, after I had played through the world so long, I decided that I was keeping my original world, and I didn't really want to have that secondary world anymore. I just wanted that one. So I went to delete it. I went to the Xbox 360's save file of my second world, and the way the worlds were set up, my newest world that I was playing was on top, because of the way that I created them. So my first world was on the bottom, the way the screen menu was set up. So when I went to delete the world, I selected the secondary world that I had created, and it asks you if you want to edit or rename or delete your save file. So when I scrolled down, it asks, are you sure? Yes or no. Now the way the Xbox 360's screen shows, it blocks this, so you can't see what's behind it. As soon as I hit delete and then change the option to yes, the background scrolled down to my first world, and it was gone within a heartbeat. My heart stopped. I saw it, I immediately went for my Xbox 360's power cord, unplugged it, and I was... in my teenage mind, I was going through the 7 stages of grief when I turned on my 360 and it was gone. And yet, I'm happy that it happened somehow, because I always will have the memories. Because one thing I have to say is, don't be sad that it's gone. Don't be sad that it's over. Be happy that it happened, because the memories will always be there. And that's one thing that I am happy is, even though it's gone, I still remember it to this day. I remember detail for detail, every platform, every game, every friend, everything. And I wouldn't change it for the world. And after all, I have it to share with you guys now. And if you guys have any experiences or stories you want to share, feel free to share them in the comments below. If you're not already part of the Subscriber Squad, put your paws to that button, and I will see you all next week. Stay possum.